Hey Facebook family, it is Tuesday. It is a beautiful day here in Florida. I'm guessing it's about 68 degrees, low humidity, not a cloud in the sky. Heading out, talk about some health hacks. You know, I'm actually more of a wealth creation teacher than I am a health creation teacher. But here's the deal. Here's what I know. If you ain't got your health, you don't have anything. Matter of fact, I saw this in a USA Today survey a long time ago, like 15 years ago. So I can't really cite the source, but remember, you're listening to me. I'm not perfect, but I think you would agree with this. The number one way to become a millionaire, you got to be healthy. Well, that might be obvious, but most people don't even think about those things. So I see health as kind of foundational to everything good happening in your life. Let's be real honest with you. If you're watching this, please don't be offended. But listen, if you're carrying 20, 40, 60, 80 pounds of extra belly fat, you know you're not in a great position right now in terms of your energy or your vitality, your time to spend with your family, just your overall well-being, your self-worth, how you view yourself, and just that general good feeling. If you're carrying that extra body fat, you guys got to draw a line in the sand at some point, right? Because here's the deal. Pay me now or pay me later, right? And I think these hacks I'm going to share with you are not expensive at all. But it takes placing your health at a much higher standard. For me, it goes something like this. My wife, my family, my health, my finances. My wife, my family, my health, my finances. Of course, all of that is under the umbrella that I have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. Now, these hacks work whether you're a believer or not, but, that is my foundation for everything, my spiritual life. But my physical life is made up by my priorities being my wife, my family, my health, my finances. Kind of 4 cornerstones there if you can get a grip on them. None of them I'm perfect at. Most of them I can do better at, right? But let's talk about health hacks today. For you guys who want to get healthy, listen, here's the interesting thing about this because of the reticular activating system, which I shared with you last week. Pretty much no one is really watching this that doesn't want to get healthier. Because they're not attracted to it. If it's not, resonating high on the energy level, they're not even going to watch this video. So again, all my videos are, I hope I help 1,000 people, but if we get breakthrough with one, that's great. Okay, here's one. Drink a ridiculous amount of water. I mean, there's certain standards and how many, ounces of water per body weight and all that. Hey, listen. I don't really know what the exact amount is, but I can tell you that Coca-Cola, which is pure crap, and it's loaded with sugar, and it's horrible, and is definitely a product that leads you to bad things, is not water. So, but I don't like the taste of water. I suggest you get over it. If your body's mostly made up of water, what do you think your body wants? Coca-Cola? Whiskey? Gatorade? No. Well, those all have water. Sure. But why would you damage your body in other ways? Why would you damage your body in other ways when what your body needs and wants is water? Drink more water. Number 2, you got to get enough sleep, guys. Again, everybody's formula is a little different. Everybody needs a different amount of sleep. But recently, I've been really working on sleep. Now, here's a guy who's been on the planet a long time. That's me. And I never really mastered sleep. So now I'm really working on sleep, and I'm doing things, and I'm studying sleep. And here's what I'm finding out. I feel better all day long. I'm not 20 hours of work a day. But man, when I'm working or I'm playing or I'm giving my wife attention or, doing chores around the house, I want to have great energy. I can tell you that sleep makes a difference. Sleep makes a difference. There's certainly supplements out there that can help with sleep. Now, there's drugs out there that can help with sleep. I don't know if you need any more drugs in your life. I'd suggest you go the supplement route and check that out. But, basically, look, guys, here's one of the hacks I did. I don't go to sleep when I go to bed. So if I go to sleep at 11 o'clock, I'm asleep, or if I go to bed at 11 o'clock, I'm asleep at 12 or 12:30. If I go to sleep or I go to bed at 9 o'clock, I'm asleep by 10 or 10:30. Now, it's almost guaranteed that I'll be awake between 5 and, if I sleep in, 6 a.m. in the morning, because that's another hack that I've shared with you a number of times. But sleep, and water. I mean, so many people would be better off. Now, you probably know that you can't drop that body fat if you're not getting enough sleep. Water to flush it out and reducing stress. Oh, you don't understand my job. You don't understand this. You don't understand that. I'll talk to you from my position. Once I gave it all to Jesus Christ, and I'm not perfect. Don't think I'm talking to you from a perfect standpoint. Then the things that I can control, which is really why you're stressed, I just give it to the Lord, right? I'd suggest you get right with Jesus, and that can definitely help you in a better way. So one is that. Two is, I have a hope and a future. Yes, I'm going to heaven, but more importantly, I have really great goals, and a really strong purpose. So I'm not focused on the things that cause me stress. I'm focused on my goals and dreams. Most of you are so buried. Most of you, if you're listening on the way to work, you're not even thinking about your goals and dreams. What you're thinking about is your BOSS and the JOB, just over broke, that you can't stand. And then you just had a fight with your spouse, and then the bills aren't quite getting paid, and then the kids are whining and all that. You're not thinking about your goals and your dreams, but you got to. You see, when you're focused on higher things, right? I mean, Paul talks about that in the Bible. Cast your eyes above, not below. You got to be looking forward. You got to have some vision for your life. You want to start reducing stress. Have a reason to be alive, not just existing. Have a reason to be alive. Let's get around to eating as a hack. Look, guys, you don't need to eat as much food as you're eating. You don't ever need to put another bread in your mouth. If bread's your problem, you don't need to do it. If bread's your heroin, I suggest you go cold turkey. Here's the truth. Here's a great hack for you. This is me. You want to drop some serious body fat? Eliminate the obvious ones like dessert all the time, dessert at work, dessert. By the way, most of those carbohydrates you're eating, like the bagel, to me it's birthday cake. I think of bagels as birthday cake. I think of anything that's not a good carbohydrate is kind of birthday cake to me. But you have to eat, right? You've got to eat. So I would suggest this. I would eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a queen, and dinner like a prince or princess. In other words, an easy hack is eat most of your calories on the front end. Your body desperately needs to be jump-started again after sleeping. It's called break the fast, breakfast, right? I suggest a big breakfast would make a lot of sense. But from that point forward, here's what I would suggest. Eliminate the obvious stuff. If you're drinking your calories, you might want to check in, okay? Do you really need that soda as much as you need to be healthy for your family? Right? You're just transferring things here, right? If you look at food as fuel, not as how good it can taste in my mouth for those little seconds it's in my mouth, if you look at it as fuel, you guys all know Cheetos, Doritos, and Oreos are not really food. They're made in a factory. They don't grow on plants. You can't milk an Oreo. So that's not really food. So one is big breakfast and then kind of smaller portions throughout the day. The other thing is just kind of train your mind. If we go out to dinner, I'm thinking I'm not going to eat the whole dinner, right? I don't want to eat all that bread they give you on the front end. And I can make decisions. But the number one decision we usually make is, instead of we have to clean our plate, we get 2 meals out of every entree. Not to be cheap, but what's wrong with that? But more importantly, why do I have to? If their portion size is a 16-ounce New York strip and, everything that goes along with it, I don't eat 16-ounce New York strips at home. I eat New York strips at home. I'm probably more in the 7 to 9 ounces. Why would I eat a 16-ounce, right? You see, that's just brain. Your brain is thinking, well, I'm starving. You're starving because you didn't have a great breakfast. You didn't have a great lunch. And now you're going overboard. The simple hacks, okay? Well, I enjoy eating out. Oh, I do too. I came from the restaurant industry. But I don't have to eat everything at one meal. I can get 2 meals out of it. And there's other things you can do. Look, let's talk about grocery shopping. Stay to the outside walls, right? What's on the outside walls? Produce, dairy, proteins. What's on the inside wall? Processed food, processed food, processed food. Just because the government allows them to put low fat or whatever on a box doesn't mean it's healthy. Does not mean it's healthy. If you eliminated processed food, you'd be better. Well, we don't really have time to cook. Well, I mean, you just got to decide what's important to you. I mean, ultimately, you have to decide what's important to you. You are aware that you probably have a day off. You could cook a bunch of chicken breasts, steam a bunch of broccoli. You could do a bunch of roasted red potatoes, and then you've got several meals for the week instead of the grab and go and the convenience. The number one reason people are overweight or obese is probably convenience over quality. They're making the decision. Why don't you flip that? Well, I don't have a lot of money. Well, then you're going to have to be more creative. And you have to decide what's really important. You see, long term, you're donezo if you don't get your health in line. You're donezo. That's something you can control. You don't have to be like everybody else. You don't have to stop at fast food restaurants. But here's the cool thing for you. If you do all these things I'm sharing with you at an 80% level, you're kicking the rear end of most Americans. You will, in 3 months, 6 months, a year, be healthier than most Americans. You just got to decide, is that temporary good taste in your mouth more important than, let's say, any disease you might manifest? How about this one? You're walking around carrying this extra body fat. We know scientifically extra body fat leads to disease over time, and the numbers are staggering. One more hack for you. The reality is this is not the same food even that we were eating in the 50s, the 60s. When I was a kid, we had a term called perishable, meaning you had to buy fruits and vegetables every 2 or 3 days. This is not a lie. These is my wife's words. We have parrots and stuff, and they like fruits and veggies and stuff. So I said, don't we have an apple in here? The other day, I get out this apple. It's rock hard. Of course, I'm going to taste it. It's delicious. And Carolyn looks at me. She goes, I think that apple's been in there a month. Now, do you think that's genetically modified or not? Of course it is. Is it genetically modified to maximize the nutritional value? Of course not. It's genetically modified to maximize the shelf life and the beauty. We buy based on our eyes. We're not tasting the apple. We don't really look at the shelf life of apples. If it's hard, we assume they're selling tasty apples by the 30 or 40 different varieties. Maybe there's even more of that, right? So it's not the same food. And of course, you guys know our protein products are loaded with antibiotics and other, growth hormones and stuff like that. Now, this is me. I don't know that this is scientifically true, but it sure is odd to me that we do produce nothing but children that are bigger than us typically, significantly bigger. You think the growth hormones that they've been pumping the chickens with might be affecting the offspring that we're having? Could be. I tend to believe it is. And I tend to believe that when I see childhood diabetes like it is, the vast majority of those kids are eating stuff that's not even food. And so they're blowing up, and their insulin levels and glucose and stuff is exploding and causing problems that are incredible. So, the food is not the same food. And I know somebody's going to say, I eat organic. Really? Are you growing the food yourself? Are you using animals that you have animals that are eating organic things, and you're using their waste to fertilize the fruits and vegetables you're growing? If you're doing that, then you probably are as close to organic, truly organic, as anybody out there. See, this wasn't for you anyways. But most people who say they're eating good don't even know what they're eating, right? And so here's the reality. Even the American Medical Association, whose vested interest isn't necessarily the proactive side of health, even the American Medical Association, like a decade ago, after shoving the food pyramid down our throats, which what's number one on the food pyramid? Carbs. Said you got to have a multivitamin. Well, we know it's not just multivitamins; it's omega-3s and we need additional aminos and other things because we just can't get it from our food. So here's what I would suggest to you: do your research. Find a great supplement line. Remember, supplements are not food; they're not meant to take the place, but fill in your nutritional gaps. Right? If you're filling in your nutritional gaps, you're going to start eliminating your cravings for fats and sugars because that's just a trigger, right? And you're probably going to start eating for smaller portion size because your brain said, I got enough of these certain nutrients, so please stop sending food down. One of the reasons you grossly overeat, and I certainly did in my past, is the signals never went to my brain because I was not eating food. So get a great supplement. So look, there's nothing I said on here that you can't do. The question is, do you want to look better, feel better, perform better? Get these hacks. You can do your own research on my hacks. More water, reduce stress, get the proper amount of sleep, stop eating stuff that's not food. Try to do it right 80 to 20%, the 80-20 rule, 80% of the time. It's okay to cheat. It's not okay to cheat 3 meals a day. And then fill in your nutritional gaps with high-grade supplements. That's simple. That's kind of simple to me. But you got to make that decision. Then you have to live it out. You see, my motivation is I want to be on the planet a long time. I want to see my grandchildren's children and their children. And I want to continue to spread the word as long as I'm here on this planet. The good news, gospel of Jesus Christ. Well, you can't do that when you're dead. I can't be here for Carolyn if I'm dead. So I want to live a quality life. I'm doing it for others because heaven's more important to me than this. But I'm here now. So I'm gonna try to lead a quality of life. I'm gonna try to do things right at a pretty high level and be healthy, right? Easy hacks. You can do it. Hey, let's go.